You are listening to Ideas and Leaders podcast. I'm Elena Paweta, Executive Communication Coach and TEDx organizer. With each episode, I'll share with you communication tips and ideas from top business leaders to help you excel in your career. Welcome to the next episode of Ideas and Leaders podcast. Today, I have a great guest in this episode. We're speaking with Rachelle Sylvain, and she's the founder of Our Motivation. She's a certified life coach, and she's helping professional women to find their life balance, their fulfillment, and purpose. Hi, Rachelle. It's great to have you here.
Hi, Elena. How are you? Thanks for having me. Such a pleasure and an honor. Thank you.
Great. It's so great to have you here. So, Rachelle, can you tell us a little bit more about your business journey? How did you get to where you are right now?
Well, my business journey is an interesting one. Like many women, I found myself one day sitting on my couch, wondering, what do I want to be when I grow up? Mind you, I was already a licensed master social worker. I already had my non-for-profit for about 12 years. And I was a mom, married, all the societal checkbox were checked. And one day I found myself on my couch wondering what I wanted to do when I grew up, because everything that society had asked of me, my family had asked of me, I had done. And I was very pleased in the elements that I was in. However, I was not fulfilled. Something was still missing, something was still disconnected. And I needed to take the time to really connect with myself at my core and get the clarity that I needed to help me understand what is it that I really want to do. More so, what was I destined to do in this lifetime? And this is how my journey through creating my business has sparked. But it started with me going through my own process of self-discovery, leading to me creating my business. So this is how all started for me.
Yeah, and now you're helping others to find their purpose, to find their satisfaction. And, I can see that currently in business, I'm observing a lot of people in business, they are not satisfied with where they are right now. So they are doing something, they're working, maybe they're doing something that is highly appreciated by others, and everyone thinks, wow, you are amazing. But in fact, they are not satisfied with, and because they don't have this sense of purpose. So when you work with your clients, how do you help them to find this purpose and to overcome this feeling?
So first thing I say to my client is that you don't find the purpose, you connect with your purpose. The purpose has always been there. It's just how you go about connecting with it. Because if you take the time to reflect on your life's journey, you'll find different areas in your life where your purpose showed up. You just didn't know how to connect with it. So if I take myself, for example, here I am saying that now I'm living, which I am, living fully within my purpose. However, when I look back, every step that I've taken, every relationship I've had, everything that I've done was still aligned with what my purpose is. Remember, I mentioned that I am a social worker. So within that life, with that work, I'm impacting life. So what I did not mention to you is that my purpose in this life is to impact lives positively. That is my true purpose in this life. And when I look back and realize that I became a social worker, I was impacting lives. I founded a not-for-profit, I'm impacting lives. My role in my relationship with friends or family has always been one where people felt comfortable and safe to come speak to me, ask me for guidance and help them process things. So in every time I have helped, I was impacting lives. So it's just what was not necessarily aligned fully with me is the way in which I was serving them, and realizing that what I was destined and what I found most fulfillment in was in speaking. And in speaking, pouring into others so that they could find that flame that resides within them to help them light it up and realize that by turning that flame on, you have now acquired all that you are seeking so that you can live within your greatness. So this is where I've had how I help others to help them light up that flame that resides within them so that they could start the process to connecting with who they are at the core and live that life they were destined to live. So you don't live it by default. You live the life that you were destined based on what you have identified, you have connected with, and you have revealed about yourself. And this is the process of self-discovery. And this is how I help others. And it has
Yeah.
worked tremendously for me.
Yeah, I can clearly see that you are connected with your purpose 100%. So what about people who are not connected with their purpose and they thought for a long time that they are talented in some area and they were working in a corporation, but now they feel that they want something more, that they want something else. So how to not find, because we don't find purpose, we connect with the purpose. I already learned that. So how to connect with this purpose that is somewhere there, but we still don't know what it is.
So what I encourage, and I say a lot, is sit with the feeling. So I encourage those who are going through it or feeling the sense of overwhelmness or disconnect, unfulfillment, lack of joy, lack of purpose, to sit with that feeling and really listen to what's being generated within you that makes you feel the way you feel. And in that process, where it comes, I encourage journaling because emotions, feelings, sensation, vibrations are going through you. Sit with it, explore it, listen to it. And then you release that emotion that's being generated within you so that you can now get clarity as to what this all means. And one of the biggest challenges is this. Most of us who are going through this feel we're the only one. We're not. We're not. We think that this is the first time this ever has been. No, this is not the first time. Many people go through it. They go through life, like I said, they get that job because that's what they had to do, because they have to pay their bills, they have to support their family, they just have to keep, especially us as women, we carry several different hats. So we need to show up for others at all times. So even in taking that job or that career path, it was because we were trying to show up for others, but we never took the time to show up for ourselves. And this is where the process comes in, and realizing it, I'm good at what I'm doing. I'm great, but I'm not connected to what I'm doing. So we need to identify why that is, the why. And realizing that that's a question that you have, and the answer that you're seeking resides within you. It's not outside of you. So you could look at the wall, look at television, look at the answers within, and you have to trust that feeling. And what often happens is the fear of the unknown, the fear of what that means for my family, what that means for the job that I have, or the career path, or the business. If I say I no longer want to do it, if I say I'm no longer aligned with it, and that's what's holding us back from taking the step we need to take to explore these things that we know needs to be explored, because we are not connected, we are not fulfilled. And everything around us is falling apart while we're trying to keep it together. And as women, that's one of the things that we suffer the most with, because we want to show up showing that we are the executive. I'm the businesswoman. I got this, I got that. And yes, you do. We do. But are you happy in that role? And you may like the idea of being in charge, which is fine. But is it in doing what you're doing right now? Would you like to be in charge and doing something else? And what that thing is. And that's where, when I work with people, we start exploring what those things may be, what they may look like for you. So we visualize what that ideal life would look like for you that would make you fulfilled. It's a process. It's not easy. It is possible.
Yeah, I think especially as a woman, and of course, you know that you work with women in business, and I think especially as a women, we have those inner struggles that we want to show up everywhere. We want to be perfect mothers, perfect wives, perfect workers, entrepreneurs, and this is kind of we are losing ourselves in this, and I can see that a lot of women that are kind of look that everything is great in their lives, but in fact they are not happy. And I think that to find this inner fulfillment, to find this inner happiness and satisfaction, this is the key to success. So you're saying journaling, connecting with yourself. So when we're journaling, we are creating our perfect vision. So what questions do you recommend to ask to ourselves? What questions do we need to answer in order to get to this why?
So there's a lot of empowering questions. But however, I want to interject one more thought, the thought of allowing yourself to be vulnerable, right? We have this understanding or this perception that vulnerability means weakness, and it does not. It means owning, it means releasing, it means being true to yourself. And that's really what it means. And it means putting down the wall that you have had for so many years that preventing you for you to see the clarity that you're seeking and being okay within it. Because in doing so, then you could start asking yourself these empowering questions. Who am I? What am I about? What brings me joy? What brings me pain? What do I like to do? What triggers me? What excites me? What makes me want to get up and start my day? So these are some of these empowering questions, as small as basic as they may sound. I mean, there's more, but these are the way that you first start. And you could sit in these questions at least for days. Who am I? If I were to define who I was, if I were to ask you today, right now, Elena, who are you? What in life are you going to tell me what you do?
That is a complicated question,
right?
to answer immediately.
The first thing we are default to do is to start presenting ourselves with war credentials. But is it really you? Who are you?
Yeah, this is just one of the masks that I'm wearing, but we tend to identify ourselves this mask. Yeah, especially in the business world.
I'm Rachelle, and I am this compassionate, dedicated, supported, loyal, honest. I'm not going to say that. Loving. I'm not going to say that because, well, we don't say that. I have learned to practice saying that, to show up this way, which is not the conventional way of showing up. Because if you really want to know who I am, these are the elements of who I am. Everything else comes after. Me being a licensed social worker, certified professional coach, and then a president of a non-for-profit, an entrepreneur. These are just other elements of me. A writer, an author, like all these other things are elements. But who am I? I am a daughter. I am a wife. I am a mother. I am a compassionate, loving, supportive, honest woman full of integrity. That's part of who I am. That's me introducing part of my core values. That's me owning these things about myself as I experience life and get connected with who I am from the core. I am a person who is dedicated to service, to impacting lives, specifically women, so that they could use their voice, stand in their truth, and show up authentically. This is who I am. Everything else is secondary. Being a speaker, a coach, whatever else, all these other titles. I hope that helped answer your question.
Yeah, I think this is really amazing that we get to know ourselves better, because everything we do is kind of we are just trying to fit into the expectations of others, and trying to be someone else, and trying to be like someone else, and we don't have time uh, in this process of trying to be someone else. We don't have time to think about ourselves, and I think this is so important to ask ourselves this question. So I really recommend our listeners now to write down those questions from Rachelle, and just to spend a couple of evenings on reflecting on
And
this.
actually, when people do work with me, I have about 4 pages of these questions. So it's not just like, that's just a little bit of what I introduced, but it's a good 4 pages of like these deep, empowering questions. Because ultimately, most people want to find joy, right? They want to be in the space of joy. And as long as you're struggling, or you're wrestling life, trying to get all these things together, you're not gonna. It's hard for you to find that joy and fulfillment. And it's taking these first steps that will help you in the process to become that version of yourself that you're so seeking and deserving of. Because where's the element of joy? Where's the element? And unless you don't value fun, if you don't value, it all depends on your values. I value fun. I value happiness. What does happiness look like? How do I create that so that I ensure that I live through it daily? Because happiness is in the exterior of you. What's inside of you is joy. You experience joy from within.
Yeah, so assuming that we already found this purpose, found this why, made this deep work, how to find the inner motivation, how to find this power to actually go forward. Because from what I see, people now lose motivation, and there is problem in teams, for team leaders, that we are kind of we are out of energy with this home office, with a lot of things going on around us. What would you recommend when we already know this purpose, how to go forward and how to find motivation to actually act on it?
So once you find that purpose, you connect in it. I mean, really, it's really once you connect with yourself, right? Once you get to know you from the core, and knowing you means knowing your why, your who, or the purpose, all these, your values, all these pieces comes into getting to know who you truly are from the core. Once that happens, it's kind of like you become a different person, because you learn to embrace every element of who you are. Now you become more comfortable in that space, because you learn to love who you have learned, who you have become, and what you have learned about yourself. So you learn to accept these things you've learned about yourself, and you learn to celebrate it. And celebrating these things that you have learned and embraced, then the fuel that you require to light up what's within you, to get the motivation to do it, began. But as long as you don't know, it's hard for you to get motivated for anything, because you don't know. Then you learn to trust who you have become as you begin to trust something greater than yourself. And knowing that, in taking the steps to live within my purpose, and taking the step and connecting with myself, the better, most fulfilled, most empowered, most inspired person will submerge from it. Then the motivation arises, because now nothing will stop you. Because every step you take in your life, you will be in alignment with your truth. Nothing else, because it's kind of like you have everything within you to make certain things happen for you, because now you own the tools to walk through life, to push through challenges, to break away self-resistance and show up for yourself as you should so deserve, and demand to be seen as you. Nothing else will stop you. Then the motivation will be there, because now you're like, you know, I got this. And there will be bumps, there will be setbacks, there will be trials. But the way you process these will be different than how you would have processed it then. And I'm a prime example of that. I have, because I had gone through my self-discovery. When I had a business right before, you know, I went to entrepreneurship, and I lost a business. But the way in which I handle the setback from that as I was going through it, had I not been through this process before, the outcome for me would have been different. I realized how grounded I was spiritually through my experience of the setback that I've experienced, because I was not saying why it's happening to me. I was saying why not. At that moment, as I was experiencing my financial setbacks and business loss, I was saying to myself, success does not come without failure. So if this is the moment I'm given to experience setbacks and failure, I'm open to the experience because I'm about to grow. That mindset is not given to most unless you've done some work. So it's a shift of mindset that occurs when you go through the process of discovery, that when you are faced with challenges and obstacles, your approach to it and how you overcome it is different. You have your process, the way in which you process things is different. And this is, so life does happen. I'm not here to tell people that you're not gonna find bumps. It's just that it is gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy, but it is gonna be possible. There's light on the other side of every single struggle, every single setback. But the willingness to push through is what you're gonna work through now, so that when you're faced with them, you know there's no other option but to keep on pushing and growing in every single situation you face.
I really love it, and I can so much relate to it, because there was a time when I was doing the work that I was just told to do, and I did not have motivation at all. And I don't think that there was anything that would motivate me, any kind of outer motivation from the outside. But currently, as I am doing the things that I love, and I found my purpose, and everything that I do is in line with my purpose, I feel that I don't need any motivation. And no matter if I have some obstacles, just as you say, or if things are not going as I planned, it doesn't matter. I just keep on going, and I'm so motivated all the time. So I totally agree that we need this to find this inner motivation from the inside, in order to keep going forward.
And then knowing that it's going to happen, no matter what, there will be pain. No matter what, there will be obstacles and setbacks and loss. All these things are going to happen. But you're better equipped to go through it, because you know that it's part of the process. And again, it's a mindset shift. It's a mindset. I have my husband right now who's traveling a lot, and I was talking to him this yesterday. I was like, oh my God, we need to find a way for you to not travel so much for work. And he says, it's okay. It's not permanent. It's a mindset, because the bigger picture is what we're looking at. So we're dealing with what the shift in our lifestyle for what it is. We said, but it's not a permanent thing, so I'm okay with it. Mindset. So I'm okay with it too. So when people say, oh my God, it's not yet. No, he's not. Because I know there's something better coming. There's purpose behind him not being here. So, and I trust also is trusting something greater than yourself as well, to know that that's the right course of action. So I don't feel a certain way about his absence as much because we know there's something greater happening. But it's not easy. It's not, I mean, it's not ideal, but it is what it is. But we're gonna be okay because we keep on pushing.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. This is great mindset to have, and we need to learn from you about this. You're right. So Rachelle, I wanted to ask you the last question about the energy, and I know that you're speaking a lot about energy shifting, and you have a program about it. So how what would you recommend to our listeners in terms of shifting their energy, mastering their personal energy? What do you recommend to do or not to do?
Great. In fact, I have a journal. It's a book that I've written. It's an inspirational guide to self-discovery and energy shifting. It's called My Energy. It's on Amazon, where I introduce a 7-step process to self-discovery and of 4 stages of shifting energy. And the energy piece is this. And I'm not talking spiritual energy. I'm talking about the vibration that we are experiencing throughout our bodies and throughout ourselves, throughout our mind, that we often ignore, but they're there for a purpose. And the key to shifting energy, and I introduce, is recognizing the energy you're carrying, release the energy you're carrying, refine the energy you're carrying, and readjust to the energy you're carrying. At any given moment, minute by minute, our energy could shift. You get a phone call right now, a text that totally gets from your smiley Elena to not that so smiley Elena. And how do you tap in and out of it so that it doesn't consume your day, so you don't react to it where it could affect other people? So it's through recognizing that something within you is not in alignment with yourself at that moment. So I encourage people, when they feel it at the moment, to take a step back, sit in it for a little bit, and identify what's being generated. Process what's happening at the moment. And once you process it, you start you release it. Let it be by walking, speaking to someone, writing it down, journaling, or whatever, breathing, whatever works for you. You need to identify your own ritual, what works for you. And this is, again, going back to self-discovery. What's your best, what works for you? What works for me may not work for you. So it goes back to that first self-discovery. Once you know me, walking works well for me. Sitting in silence and meditation works for me. Everybody has different things. So you need to work what works for you. So that's how you process to release it. If you're at a job, you get that phone call, chances are you're not going to go meditate. You may need to take a step back, breathe, and if you need to go to the bathroom to meditate for 2 minutes, you need to do that. But the point is, there are ways. And then you refine how do I want to address the situation? How do I want to go back to the space that I was in to not experience what I was experiencing? So you refine, you make a decision, you see what works for you. And then you adjust, and at that moment, you're able to readjust to it. If it's an interaction you have with someone on the phone, then you could say, you know what, now I'm going to call them. I'm in a better space. I could call them now because I'm not going to react to what's being said to me or what was just said. Now I processed it, I released it. I refined my attitude about it. Now I'm ready to move forward. And that practice can be done in a matter of seconds in any given situation. So that's how I teach or I talk on the energy shifting practice, because we all, no matter who you speak to, no matter how elevated the person or enlightened the person may be, the difference between a person who has mastered the energy shifting and somebody else is just that we know how to tap in and out of it at any given moment. Some of us sit long in it and they want to feel the pain and the anger, the frustration, and don't even know how to get out of it. And it consumes you. It doesn't benefit you. So it's how quick we're able to tap in and out of it. Because as human beings, no matter what we say, we will have things that affects us, not in the most positive. But the difference is one sit longer than the next. So that's it.
Yeah, that is such a powerful technique. And can you tell to our listeners where can they find this book if they're interested, and where can they contact you also if they have additional questions?
The book can be found in Amazon. So those of you who are not local, and if you follow me on Instagram, it's at _ Rachelle Sylvain. I'm also on Facebook, same name. I'm also on LinkedIn, same name. And I'm also on Clubhouse, if those of you who may be in it, same name. So that's the way you could go into my LinkedIn bio and definitely pull whatever resource you need. I actually have something even better. I have a program that I launched called Reignite Me, where I take you to a 12-week process of self-discovery and energy shifting. And in this program, you actually get the book in it as well. You get a journal, you get an affirmation candle in it, all the elements you need to get your space right, your mind right, so that you can really get connected with who you truly are and learn how to navigate life in a more positive, uplifting, motivated, and step into your greatness. Because that's really what it is. How do we step into our greatness and break away from all that no longer serves us? It's called Reignite Me. And it's also in all these links. So Instagram has it. If you go there, you'll find it, as well as LinkedIn.
Perfect. So we will share the links for the program and the book and your social media under the episode, so that our listeners can immediately contact you if they're interested in joining your program, or just to inviting you thanking for your insights. And now I would like to thank you, Rachelle, for the participation in Ideas and Leaders podcast. I think that you gave really great value and great food for thought for many of our listeners. For me, for sure, I will keep on reflecting on myself and my why for the next couple of days. Thank you so much for today, for your participation.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Ideas and Leaders podcast. Did you enjoy this episode? Let me know that you listened by tagging me in your LinkedIn profile and using a hashtag Ideas and Leaders. See you in the next episode.